Now at 6, we continue with a severe weather alert. 95 is finally moving again in both directions after being blocked for hours by flooding. Governor Dan McKee is urging people to stay off the roads tonight unless they absolutely have to, with widespread flash flooding in Providence and Cranston. We're expecting a briefing from Governor McKee at any moment. We'll take that live once it starts. Meanwhile, state police are trying to get stranded cars off the road. Many drivers have been stuck here, as you can see, for hours. We have a team of reporters across the Providence area. Let's begin with Alexandra Leslie, who's live in Providence. Alex?
Well, Mike, in just the last couple of minutes, both lanes of 95, north-south, both moving just fine now at this point. It looks like the last chunk of flooding that was over on the northbound side has cleared at this point, and cars are moving in all lanes. There are still some things to pick up here. There's a traffic accident on the southbound lane over here that is still being cleared at the moment, but things are moving along a lot better at this point. Earlier, though, a lot of mayhem, cars stuck in the water, trying to clear out, crews were trying to clear out debris from the roadways and trying to make sure that everything was able to drain so that cars could drive through. One of the drivers that we caught up with was stuck for nearly 2 hours.
We're walking, we're trying to find a bathroom break like many people, and a lot of people are trying to turn around, which I don't know if the cops are directing people back the other way. Maybe they should be, but hopefully they'll figure out a way to clear the road.
So this is that accident that I was referencing. Things like this, you're going to want to make sure that you proceed with caution when you're driving. Though there is traffic moving at this point, there are still many emergency crews out on the road. So if you do see people in the breakdown lane or any kind of blue or red lights, move over a lane and give them room to work, especially during this very wet weather what they're having right now. Reporting live in Providence, Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.
Let's go live now to Governor Dan McKee. He's holding a virtual briefing.
We will be doing a Q&A through a raise a hand function. All right, and now I'm going to turn it over to Governor Dan McKee.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to start by thanking our media for coming on today and delivering some important information that we're going to be sharing on this call for the people of the state of Rhode Island. We have our Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos with us, along with DOT Director Peter Alviti, our Rhode Island State Police Colonel Weaver, as well as our EMA Director Mark Pappas. So parts of Rhode Island have and are currently experiencing extreme flash flooding. And I saw reports earlier today as much as 4 inches of rain fell in parts of Providence over a 90-minute period of time. A short while ago, I was briefed by members of my team who continue to monitor the situation. The intense rain has caused flooding, which has affected parts of our highways and local roads. Shortly, I'll ask our Director Alviti and Colonel Weaver, along with Director Pappas, to give an update on what that has meant to our highways and the closures on our highways. Before I want to say this, before I hand it over, I'd like to just say this very quickly. The most important thing that Rhode Islanders can do in any form of emergency is stay off the roads. This is the case as we speak, and we'll kind of fill you in on where we are right now. But as the evening approaches and it starts getting dark, you're not going to see the flooding or the accumulation of water on our roadways. You're not going to see any debris that may be in the way as well. So let's just be safe. If you don't need to go out, let's not go out. I know it may seem like the storm is over as the rain has slowed down, but we're expecting that there may be another surge later this evening, and we're going to continue to be monitoring the situation. Our DOT crews are out in full force, continuing to clear drains on the street, and our state police continue to escort stalled vehicles off the highways. So please stay home, keep your devices charged. At the moment, I'm hearing there's about 600 outages of electricity right now, mostly centered up in the Johnston, Lincoln area. So please stay home and be safe. I want to thank our crews, both local and state, for the work and the assist that they're giving to our Rhode Islanders and people who are traveling our highways. And I would thank them again for their quick response to this issue. And before we turn it over to any of our Director Alviti or Pappas or Colonel Weaver, I want to just turn it over to our Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos, to kind of deliver a message as well. So thank you for having us on, and we'll be open for questions after we give our presentation.
Thank you, Governor. We have been monitoring the situation together with the emergency management, and in conversation with the governor, we wanted to deliver this important message also in Spanish to our community that don't speak English. And I just want to mention some of the key points that the governor just mentioned right now. A la comunidad que está viendo esta información ahora en español, queremos decirle que por favor se mantengan fuera de las carreteras. Ahora, como está cayendo la noche, se va a poner más peligroso porque usted no va a poder ver donde haya una carretera que esté inundada de agua. Y es muy importante que tome precaución para que usted y sus familias estén salvos. Más adelante vamos a estar escuchando de los diferentes directores, como el director de transportación y de emergencia, pero lo más importante es que se queden en casa y que se mantengan fuera de estas carreteras que están inundadas. Gracias. I'm going to turn it back to the governor.
Yeah. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And Director Alviti, please share what the information that you have, the current information, and thank you for being on the call. And thank you to your staff too, as well, Peter, for the work that you've been doing today.
Thank you, Governor. So our staff is out there. Our crews, our maintenance crews are at all flooding locations, making sure the drains are clear and stay clear. We had two major highways that received a considerable flooding. One was around 95 north and south around Thurbers Avenue, where our crews responded very quickly to that. They determined that it was not a blockage. Multiple crews traced the drainage system all the way to its outfall, found no blockages. It was simply that the rainfall had come down at an intensity that exceeded the capacity of the drainage system to accept it. That has cleared. The floodwaters have receded. The rainfall intensity has reduced. And I'm being told that Route 95 is now open in both directions. There may be some restrictions, and it'll take a while for the traffic back up to clear, but it is opened and the floodwaters are receding there. On Route 6, both north and 6 and 10, I'm sorry, on Route 10 north and south, we had a similar situation where the drainage system was exceeded. The capacity of the drainage system was exceeded. The rainfall has receded. Those areas are opening up. I expect within 15 minutes from now, all lanes on Route 10, both north and south, will be open to traffic. We've been working closely with the state police to make sure that any vehicles that were stuck in the floodwaters will be towed out, or are being towed out, or were towed out. And I will echo what the governor's advice is. If you don't have to go out, we're expecting some additional rainfall. Not clear what the intensities are going to be between now and tomorrow afternoon. So I would say be cautious. Stay in touch with the local news, media, and weather services to be advised. We will continue to have our crews on through the entire storm until the storm clears and all of any drainage issues are resolved. Thank you, Governor.
And you've been watching a virtual live news conference with Governor Dan McKee, and that was the OT Director Peter Alviti just speaking right there. Governor did say we're looking at 600 power outages right now in Lincoln and Johnston. All right, we are also following some breaking news out of Providence. Police and fire are at a collapsed building on Peace Street. Several nearby streets and intersections are blocked off. Providence police say fortunately no one was in the building and there were no injuries. Route 10 at Union Avenue in Providence also blocked blocked by flooding right now. Same situation here. Crews just trying to clear those storm drains to get traffic moving. 12 News reporter Amanda Pitts joins us now live from Union Avenue overpass with the latest on the situation there. Amanda?
Well, Mike, we actually moved up a few blocks to the Broadway overpass. I'll give you a look now. As you can see, Route 6 is fully reopened, as is one direction southbound on Route 10 is reopened. As you heard the director of RIDOT, Peter Alviti, just say that Route 10 is expected to reopen within the next 15 minutes. But as you can see, that northbound lane heading into Providence is still closed. That's because there are cars littering this roadway. As you can see, this black vehicle is pushed up against the Jersey barriers here. And as you can see, a tow truck is coming right now with a car on the back of it. We saw that tow truck head down Route 10 just a little bit ago, towing that car now this way up towards Providence and now stopping to get this next vehicle off of the road. And that's the type of cleanup that RIDOT crews are doing now here in Providence, working to reopen these roadways to traffic. That's expected to happen within the next 15 minutes, as Peter Alviti just said. But right now, Route 10 heading northbound into Providence is still closed. The southbound direction is fully reopened, as is Route 6. For now, live in Providence, Amanda Pitts, 12 News.
Amanda, thank you. Several streets in the capital city are flooded. This is what Pavilion Avenue at Ocean Street looked like just a couple of hours ago, with 3 cars stuck. Now, Mayor Jorge Elorza is echoing what the governor and urging people not to drive unless it's an absolute emergency. The rains are also causing damage to the road. This is Atwells Avenue. You can see just the rushing water causing the pavement here to buckle. 12 News reporter Matt Paddock continues our weather team coverage now live from Atwells Avenue. Matt?
Yeah, Mike, we actually have some updates here on Atwells Avenue. Providence Water just arriving on scene, and they tell me they're going to be blocking off this area for the next few hours. Now, that hole I was filling in there, they've already filled that with rock. They tell me they're doing that to knock the water down. They'll put water sheets on top of it. But as you can see right here, they're tearing up the road already. They said they're going to have to tear this up and rebuild it throughout tomorrow. They said that this is going to take some time. They're going to be here throughout the night and into tomorrow, fixing the infrastructure from that damage left behind from that flash flood warning. Now, make sure you're staying with 12 News for all of these updates and the latest on WPRI.com and on air. Live in Providence, Matt Paddock, 12 News.
Matt, thank you. And we're going to give you a look here. This is Pleasant Valley Parkway in Providence, where a driver needed to be rescued from his vehicle. Neighbors say they saw the water just rising on the car and swam over to help him out, smashing the window and pulling the driver to safety. Crews eventually removing that car from the water. And you got to check out this video. This is Atwood Avenue in Cranston. This is a familiar scene here. You can see a fire truck just making its way through the floodwaters at the intersection of Atwood and Randall Street. This is near the old police station. At its worst, the water reached the headlights of some of those cars. Several drivers stopped at a shopping plaza to wait out the heavy downpours.
So I've been here a good 45 minutes, and everybody's driving through it. I mean, what's the matter with people? I mean, I don't understand. You know, you don't drive through if you get stuck.
Several communities saw heavy flooding like this. Our pinpoint weather mobile is on the roadways as they begin to reopen. Let's go over now to Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca. Tony, we're seeing up to 6 inches of rain in some spots?
Yeah, the radar can estimate how much rain has fallen over a certain amount of time, Mike, and it's anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rain with some isolated 6-inch amounts. And the problem, especially in the Providence-Cranston area this afternoon, is that this excessive rain kept falling over the same area hour after hour. Now, what we've noticed is that the intensity of the rain in the Providence-Cranston area has eased a little bit, and now we're starting to see the rain really pick up in intensity just over the border into southeastern Connecticut. So now the concern has shifted a little further to the south for Kent County and eventually Washington County, as we're watching this very heavy area of rain that'll be crossing the Connecticut-Rhode Island border. So here's Providence Metro. It's eased a little bit, but there's still plenty of precipitation off to our south and west. So while it may change in intensity, the rain rainfall will continue this evening and right on through the overnight. As Mike had mentioned about rainfall amounts, and the Doppler radar can estimate how much rain has fallen, and clearly it was in this zone, green, yellow, and these little areas of orange. This is where the significant flooding occurred. So we're talking, kind of a localized situation. Get in real close. The yellow area, this is 295, 95 Providence, Thurbers Ave, Situate right in here. The yellow areas represent up to 5 inches of rain, and this darker area of orange hinting at amounts between 5 and 6 inches of rain, all falling over a short amount of time, overwhelming storm drains, and the net result of flash flooding. And the flash flood warning continues in this green polygon until 7:30 this evening. Warning means that flooding is occurring. Meanwhile, statewide, we're under a flood watch until tomorrow. Watch means the potential or the possibility of flooding. Here's Kent County, Connecticut, Rhode Island border, Coventry, Western Coventry, West Greenwich, and Southeast Connecticut. It's right in here now. This is now shifted to the south, so the concern becomes Kent County and Washington County over the next couple of hours as far as potential for some localized flash flooding. Not quite out of the woods yet. A lot to cover as the rain will continue right on through the overnight and into tomorrow. The full forecast coming up in a little bit.